Omkaram bindu samyuktam nityam dayam di yogina kamadam mokshadam shaiva Omkaraya namo namaha. Om united with the source on which the yogis ever dwell, grants desires and liberations. Salutations to the Omkaram. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om united with the source. When we are united with the source or the one or the consciousness, when we dwell on this consciousness constantly and dwell on the one or this higher self or God or whatever you want to call it, what happens is we realize why we are here on this earth, all united with the source. And what is a yogi? A yogi is one who's constantly connected, on which the yogis ever dwell. Grants desires and liberation. We are given everything that we want, because as you think, it will become. Even if it doesn't come now, it will come in the next lifetime, in the next lifetime. Because every thought, you will get what you want. You will get whatever you want in this life. But you will realize that in this world, grants desires and liberation. That whatever you get, you can ask for a million things. You can ask for wealth. And if you get it, may you all get it. But know one thing for sure. The moment you get it, you're going to be fearful of losing it. You'll become attached to it. And know for sure that these things come to you, your desires come to you, so that you can learn to be free of them. So it's quite interesting how we are hardwired. Quite interesting. We have these desires, we come to earth, we want this, we have these emotional desires, these mental desires, these physical desires, these bodily desires. We just have all these desires. And whenever we're given a desire, we can see the attachment comes in, the fear of loss comes in, anger comes in, because if something is lost that you have gained, you become angry, and then you blame everybody else, and suddenly the God of love becomes the God of hate, and everybody else is responsible for your loss but you asked for what you wanted, you got it. And then you realize, when you're constantly meditating on that vibration, or where we come from, the universe, then you realize that everything is not real, that all life is an illusion, because you're going to lose it anyway when you leave the body. You're going to leave it all behind anyway. So, what happens to the practitioner then? First, the practitioner of yoga has to go through very difficult times. And if you see all the great saints and sages, they have gone through bitter times. Very bitter times. The subject matter is turning bitter into sweet. And because they have realized that everything they got attached to, actually they had to let go of. And the wonderful thing about them is they did learn to let go of them. And when they became free, because they let go of those attachments or those desires, then what did they live for? If they have no personal big desires, because they've realized the personal big desires gets them into trouble, then the only desire that is left is to unite all of us together in one field of joy or happiness, or to tell each other this truth, this one truth, that we are here temporarily. So our desires are granted to us so that we are liberated from them. So some people go, oh, I had the best love of my life and he left me. So you get, so the desire of have to have this perfect love in my life leaves you. Nothing is perfect, or you think you find the perfect partner, and then you find faults with them, and you start finding what is wrong with them. And I have to keep telling people all the time, in all the consultations I do, there is nobody perfect, not even you. You keep telling me of somebody else's faults, but what about your own? To that other person, you are also not perfect, So this desire for perfection, this desire to have, all our needs met, it drives us crazy. So when we start to look at life from a very profound point of view, when we can see that all the bitter things in our lives, the bitter, the painful periods are all here to remind us to detach a little from thinking things belong to us. People, homes, cars, animals, anything. Nothing belongs to us. Because eventually they will all leave us, or we will leave them. But if you're constantly united with the divine within, or no, I'm not this body, as Master Shivananda would say, I'm not this body, I'm not this mine, immortal self I am. Can you say it with me? I'm not this body, I'm not this mine, immortal self I am. I'm not this body, I'm not this mine, immortal self I am. Knowledge, bliss, bliss absolute. In all conditions I have knowledge, bliss absolute. That's who I am. If consciousness is everywhere and space is everywhere, then that's where I am when I leave the body. I mean, if you look at the bulb, is the bulb electricity? No. We look at a bulb, we play with a bulb, we put it in, but what is a bulb? It's only an instrument. It will be no good to us if there's no electricity going through it. So what are we but bulbs? And when we shine bright, we give light to people. But when we're dark and depressed, we give darkness to the world. Same as a bulb, but what runs through us is that chi. What's run through us is that prana, is that energy. And on earth, we are meant to connect with this energy, only to remind ourselves. We don't have to. You can live a million lifetimes and suffer if you want. It's not, you can decide to do that. It's not good or bad. But if you want to free yourself from suffering, it's best to recognize that the energy runs through you, and you are an instrument. You're just an instrument. So as an instrument, do you choose, as a bulb, do you prefer to shine, or do you prefer to remain in darkness? That is your choice. If you remain in darkness, you'll never see the light. And if you don't see the light, there is no fun. And you have no fun, then I might as well be dead. But you're living. It's not so easy to die, Do you know that? Many people tell me, oh, no, I wish I could die. I wish it was that easy. You say, I'm going to die, and you die, And don't wish it, because you might get so sick for so long. Do you really want that? When the time comes to die, we will all have our time. Haven't you seen? Many people who don't want to die just die. How many times have I seen that? I remember the first shocking death I heard of was this 9-year-old girl walking in this building in Hong Kong, huge building, huge park. She happened to be walking at the precise place, at the precise time that a pipe from the 15th floor should fall right on her head while she was walking. She was not even still. And it was a freak accident. How do you explain these things, You cannot explain these things. We all have our time. So, but if we are stuck in the fear and the sorrow, and let's say, for example, there's this girl's mother who I know very well in the Far East, a lovely, lovely lady. But, of course you're going to go through anger, and you're going to go through why me, and you're going to question all life. But she started to delve deep into spirituality, deep. Also, she's a great artist, so she started to use her talent, which she hadn't used, to heal herself through this terrible time for her. She also decided to have another child to help herself heal, which she did, and today she serves and loves everybody, and she paints, and she's become a very famous painter. So she turned bitter into sweet. But when you turn bitter into sweet, there is always kind of like a, a period of pain, a period of discomfort, a period that you may see so dark that you think you are never going to get out of it. Remember, at those times, it is only a period and a phase. And this is what knowledge does for us. Because if you don't have the knowledge, you think, I'm going to be forever in this state of blackness or darkness or pain or turmoil. No, you're not. You use your knowledge to help you through. Does the pain go away in those times? No, you will be a little angry. You will be a little bitter. And it's okay to say it. I'm angry, I'm bitter. I have the knowledge, but, right now, I don't believe in it. And it's okay. But don't hold that thought for too long. Make it short by telling yourself, I really need to see the reality of all this, the reality of life, I need to see the reality. I'm not this bulb, I'm just an instrument, and this has happened to me maybe because of my past karmas, maybe I've done something in the past and I have to experience this, or everybody experiences it. And then when you really study the knowledge, everybody has to go through this kind of dark period. But if you turn bitter, who suffers?
You.
Correct. The only person that will suffer is you. And of course your family around you. Now when you turn bitter into sweet, and I've seen people who've gone through really rough times, when they turn bitter into sweet, what happens is this process gives to them, after they go through those 6 months or year and a half, if they turn it around, I call it alchemy. They take this anger and fear and transform it into love and service. And these people become incredible human beings when they can do that. Incredible. These great saints and souls, and there are many on this earth that I have met. They've taken their pain and they've transformed it. And they've taken this pain and they've had compassion for other people who have suffered, instead of comparing, I've suffered more than you, which you always hear a lot around these roads, don't you? Oh, I suffered more. I went through more than you. So why are you comparing pain? It's not a competition. Yeah, it's true. It's happened to me. I told the story when my husband passed away. Somebody actually told me, you are very lucky, Nalanie. Your husband passed away. My partner left me, and I have to face him every day. And I thought, what a horrible thing to say. I told her. I told her straight in her face. I said, you wouldn't think that way. Even if your husband left you, the moment he passed, you still love him. You see the pain you will feel, and bless him. I can see why he left you. You can say that to me. What were you telling him? All the time, can you imagine? So, as a joke on the side, but you see how we flippantly look at things, and we really need to see them deeply. And bitterness, things happen to everyone, like I said. Every single person on this earth has, some people have a better time of it. They don't suffer as much, other people less. But pain is pain. Maybe some people can't handle so much. You know what Mother Teresa said, right? God, I know you trust me so much. You give me so much. But please, can you give me a little less? Yeah, please. But she could handle it, you see. You really are given what you can handle. If you can really understand this truth, it will alleviate you from a lot of suffering and a lot of pain. You're just an instrument at this moment with this situation that is so bitter at this moment. So you need to disconnect from the bitterness by focusing on the Om united with the source, on which the yogis ever dwell. How do you do that? Who am I? Who's feeling this pain? My physical body, my heart. Yes, it feels very, very real. Yes, it feels very, very real. But really, it's only temporary. It's all an illusion. All life is pretty surreal, isn't it? I got that word from my son-in-law after my husband passed. He said to me, Nalanie, life is surreal. I said, yeah, the yogis call it Maya, illusion. They say, all life is an illusion. We talk about it. We, maybe have discussions about it. But when it happens to us, we've forgotten. Do you see? And this is why the practice to turn bitter into sweet has to be constant. Has to be constant, has to be all the time. That's why this mantra, Om, united with the source, on which the yogis ever dwell. Dwell on it constantly. Because in your times of bitterness, it is the only thing that's going to uplift you when you really understand this is the truth. And then the other thing, I talk about death and I make a joke out of it, but the truth is none of us ever die. None of us ever die. And you don't get what you want in this lifetime. Don't worry. Every desire has to be fulfilled. Our master used to say it's really important at the last minute of your death to be prepared for this. Because whatever you think will be your next body. And he used to make this joke. He said, for example, if you're always thinking about food, the next life you might get a pig's body. And then he told us a story about somebody that he had personally known. And he said, they were at this, at the last minute, instead of thinking of higher things, he said, I really like a cup of tea. I really want a cup of tea. He was a good man. He was a very good man. Really. So they rushed to get him a cup of tea, but he died. And Gurudev said in his next life, in this present life, he got up as, he was born as a, no. Owner of a tea plantation. Teapot. Oh, that was funny. That was pretty good. Could be next time now. No. So we don't know. The thing is, we don't know. That is the thing, we don't know. So, but I've seen people very bitter, and the longer they hold the bitterness, what happens to them? And we've all in this room seen this, including in ourselves. You get bitter. What happens? Your cheeks go hollow. You look angry. Your body deteriorates. You wrinkle faster. And everybody's talking about medicine to keep them looking younger and creams. Don't bother, just smile all the time, you'll stay young. It's really, have you heard of face yoga these days? Any of you? Keep moving your face and it keeps it young because we don't exercise our face enough. And it's true, it makes sense, right? And that's why in yoga we do netra vyayamam, the eye movements, because the eye muscles are really the first to go, if you notice, right? The eyes get a little smaller and wrinkles around here. So but if you smile, you're constantly doing face yoga. And it's true, it is true. And we don't smile because we get so caught up in the bitter times. And even if you're better now, I see many people that, they're better. But every once in a while, but did this to me. Past. It's gone. It's finished. Can you say it's finished? But Nalanie, they did this to me. Yeah, did. Past tense. Past tense. Past tense. Do they still do it today? If they still do it today, then attend to it. You need to stop it, But does it still happen today? No, it doesn't. But it only happened 4 months ago. But does it happen? Has it happened the last 4 months? And this is how, relationships break up, because it's such a lot of past. And they don't drop the past, they keep holding on to it. And so even if a person is healing, they're trying to heal. Maybe from that 4 months ago when somebody swore at them, and they're trying to really heal from this. The person who's sworn at them is trying to stop that bad habit, right? They're not allowed to stop because the partner will say, but you did it 4 months ago. So, but I've really tried for 4 months. I haven't said the swear word once, I haven't said the F word once for 4 months. And I said, instead of giving them positive affirmation and saying, great, you haven't sworn for 4 months, what do? But you did it 4 months ago. So do you see, people don't try then. You break this spirit. We break spirits. We're not here to break people. We're here to heal, to uplift. And when a situation is bitter, turn it into sweet. Don't remind them of the bitterness, because the more you remind them, what happens, the more powerful it gets. So try and bring into your conversation sweeter words, kinder words, more loving words. Start with yourself. Start to look at yourself more lovingly. Start to love yourself a little bit more, because if you love yourself, you will love everybody. If you can heal yourself, you can help to heal people. Because in the bitterness is very, very important. The pain is very important, because when you get through it, you will understand everybody else who suffered the same pain. And what comes out is supreme compassion. And this is what the great Buddha teaches, right? Yoga of compassion. Yoga, if you can't think of the higher self, and you can't think of a God, and you can't think of any of that, think of the yoga of compassion. What is the yoga of compassion? Constantly in your heart, when somebody is hurting you, when somebody is causing you pain, when bitterness comes in, say, I am willing to let it go. I understand how you feel. They say never to condemn anyone until you walk in their shoes. And this is such a truthful statement. We cannot make judgments of anyone unless we walk in their shoes. And from my work in the last 25 years, I think everybody has such an incredible side to them. And I think everybody has such a rotten side to them, including myself. All of us have it in us. And it really is up to us to develop that light bulb and not that dark bulb. That is our choice. This is where the choice comes in. But of course, like I said, when you're wrapped in that moment, it's very hard. Your mind goes to crazy places, and you really, and some people really don't have the strength to bring themselves back to understanding that the situation is really surreal. For them, it is very, very, very real. So what do you do at that time? If they can't help themselves, bring lightness to their lives. Don't say, get out that depression, get out, Bring lightness, bring laughter. And if it doesn't work when you are doing it, call somebody else in who can do it for you. I always say with couples or families, it's difficult to do it with your own partner or your own family because they're too used to you. Go take them to somebody else. Really, it really makes a difference. Because if your own family member tries to say something, they'll think you're lecturing them. They'll think you know more than them. This is why I'm like, well, don't lecture me. I know what I'm doing. But if you ask them, look, you're not in a good place. Let me ask you one question. Do you want to be better? Simple question. Would you like to be happier? And if the answer is no, go ignore them. You don't have to work too hard because they don't want to help themselves. This is when you have to make yourself much stronger and much lighter, because for you to be in that dark company for a long time will drown you. So if you really love that person and they're not willing to learn, what do? Go be with jolly people. Spend your time doing hobbies that are nice. Go out and serve others. In time, that person that is so dark cannot help themselves. They will eventually get lighter and lighter. Now, this work is not easy. It requires a lot of patience, a lot of love, unconditional love, and a lot of knowledge to be able to walk out of a painful position. So you have to be very, very strong. Otherwise, the person who is trying to help the other one who doesn't want to be helped is going to drown too. And two people drowning is really of no use to this world. So, but if you should ask them, I can't help you. Do you want to be better? I know somebody who can. And I'd love to see you laugh again. I'd love for you to be inspired again. Why don't you go somewhere if you want? And if they want, then do everything you can to lift them. And bring them around happy places. Take them to places where you feel lightness. And you know, nature really is such an incredible cure. Really, nature is. All these big buildings of blocked energy is not so good for us, you know. So take them out to the beach. Take them for long walks. Walking is wonderful. Walking is wonderful because it makes you think, you know. Just walk without any headphones, but walk and listen to the sound of nature. You can listen to your music at home, but just walk and listen to the sounds of nature. That will help people through their bitter periods. It really is a beautiful, brilliant medicine. Also, things like massage. Massage is very healing. Because all the trauma is held on the skin, so the vibration of the body is, you know, our body absorbs vibrations, you know that, right? So all the hardness, all the pain is absorbed in our skin. So you have a massage, you have a sauna, you go to a steam room and you swim. The water will help to alleviate all these things. So you find methods to help yourself to alleviate yourself from this bitter period. Because really, as the Bhagavad Gita says, we are our best friends and we are also our worst enemies. And at this time, for people who are on this path, try to watch that you are not blaming anything or anyone for your bitter experience. If you keep blaming someone else for the bitter experience will continue for a long, long time. But if you look at it as this has happened to me, for me to grow spiritually, for me to learn the deep, deep meanings of life and death, this is why it's happened to me. It's not a punishment. The person who caused it to me, poor things, what a bad karma for them. Really, I feel very sorry for people who've done horrible things in my life to me. Because, wow, to take on that bad karma, because as you sow, you will reap. I don't want anybody to sow that. So I keep blessing them and thanking them in my prayers. Thank God you're my guru. Because of you, I've come on this path. Please do that for anybody who hurts you, because they have their karma anyway. It's nothing you can do can stop it. But we can send light around them so the karma is not so hard for them. And that's how you can look at it. You know, they've just been my teachers. I mean, look at yourself and your life. Where have you learned your biggest lessons? What has brought you to this spirit? The people that have caused you the most pain. Or your own mental state that has caused you the most pain, right? Because sometimes it's not people that cause you pain, it's your own mind that causes you pain. So you're so sick of your mind that's rolling around with the same pain and the same pain that you look for something better, something happier, something higher. So thank your mind that it was sick for that time. Don't fight with yourself, but thank yourself. There's obviously something you have to learn. And if it's yourself that's causing it, then no. Why are you doing this to yourself? What is it in you? Is it the victim ego, the poor me syndrome that you learned from a long time back and you still hold? What makes you keep wanting to feel sorry and be in a dark place? Because it's not common sense, is it? That when you suffer, to make yourself suffer more. And yet human beings keep doing this. They drown in their sorrow. But that's not common sense. Common sense is to lift yourself by yourself, isn't it? It's simple common sense. So why aren't you doing it? Is there something in you that is frightened to go beyond? Because your soul knows that when you go through the bitter period, you're going to be so wonderful and so special. Well, maybe you don't want to do that yet. And that's what I've noticed in people. They're scared to be, light. They're really frightened of how wonderful they are. Like Lord Jesus said, do not hide your light under a bushel. Don't hide your light. But many people are quite frightened of their light, because when there's a lot of light, you can also see the dark. Isn't it true? I always say, if your mind is very dark, like a black tablecloth, if you drop one drop of coffee on it, can you see it? You won't even notice it. But if your tablecloth is white, and you drop one drop of coffee, it's so obvious, isn't it? You see it immediately. And you go, oh my God, that's dirty. And this is what happens to your mind when you practice yoga. It starts to get whiter and clearer. So when that dark drop comes in, it's not pleasant in the beginning. You don't know how to deal with it because it's quite powerful. And this is when you don't judge that black drop, but rather look at it and have a good laugh. You lighten up. That's what you do. Oh my God, I'm still human. I still have to work on this one. But you see it so clearly what you do have to work on. And that is a gift. That is a gift. Don't take it as, oh my God, I've got this problem still after so many years of... No, thank you for this gift, for making me see exactly what I need to do next. What my job is with myself. And when you work with yourself, it's very exciting when you see that the mind can become dark and you can look at it and you go, hey, you're not beating me, I'm free. And that's freedom, and that's joy. In the most painful moments, you can feel that peace and that joy, because you start to really be in that energy of and it's so peaceful. The problem is hard to get out. And but we have to live, we have to continue. As long as we have life, we need to work. We need to work. So what kind of work should we do to make our life sweet? What kind of work should we do? That's why all the great saints talk about service. Serve, love, give. And you see the people who serve, love, give, and do it from their hearts, because they've gone through all the desires that have been granted, and they've suffered all the pains that they, you know what? I'm just gonna love everybody so that they don't have to suffer the way I suffered. So they can enjoy life and know there's a way out of suffering. And then they become lighter and they become freer, and then the more you do it, actually becomes quite addictive. It becomes addictive because your mind's not concentrating on I, me, and mine. You've learned. Your personal desires have not made you. I'm talking about personal desires like, oh, I have to have this, or I'm talking about that kind of desire. I'm not talking about a desire that I really like a glass of water. There's nothing wrong with wanting that, or nothing wrong with wanting a home, a nice home. There's nothing wrong with wanting any of that. That is good. You should want these things. You're yogis. You should be comfortable. But I'm talking about the desire that controls you, okay? There's a big difference. That personal desire that controls your mind. If I don't have this, I cannot be happy. You see, we miss it continuously. We miss what we have now because of what we want in the future. And the future, we don't know what the future could be. I often say I could walk out of this building and the storms last week, right? One of those poles or scaffolding could have fallen on my head or anybody's head, right? We really don't know what tomorrow will bring. And we sacrifice now for what we want in the future. And then, and I see this in so many relationships in my life. They really are great for each other. They really are so good, but they cannot see what they have, because I would like this, and I would like this, and I wish you were like this, and I wish... They can't see what they do have. They can't Be in the moment of gratitude now. Of course, when there's an argument, you'd rather not have it. But that's relationships, that's marriage, that's everybody, you know. You have to have some storms, otherwise your relationship will be very boring, you know. Storms are good, because then you can get back together, you know, and discuss the deep issues. Why did we have to fall into that same old argument again? You know, what is it about you and me that creates the same story again and again? We've come to this lifetime to get over this bridge, to get over this same old story. Why have we become stuck in it? And if two people are spiritual and understand, they have a nice conversation. They may not agree, but they have a nice conversation, which makes the relationship interesting, fun, you know, full of adventure. And this is what we need to do more and more and more. Appreciate the sweet moments of our life. Appreciate it. You know, people don't seem to accept in the Yoga Center. I see many people who appreciate the sweet moments. But we should have more people appreciating all the sweet moments and all the bitter moments, to look at them as gifts to teach us. To know if we are energy, and if we are from the source, if we vibrate in that positivity, we will be able to overcome all the weaknesses. We will be given everything we need on this path to overcome every single sorrow and pain. And I can promise you that. And that's where the saying comes from. God helps those who helps themselves. We make a mess. God, please fix it for me. Please fix it for me. You have everything you need to fix it. Just use the energy that I give you to fix it. If you understand it's in you, and you will understand, because if you meditate for a long time, in silence, in quiet, understand the contents of your mind, you will know. You will know. Everybody will know. You will know that this energy is within you. But if you meditate haphazardly, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes, or you're half an hour sitting down and your mind is on 1,000 things, you will know, but it'll take you a lot longer. It'll take you a lot longer. So when you sit down and meditate, my father taught me a brilliant thing when I was when I first started on this path. He said, you know, Nalanie, 2 minutes of sincere prayer. And what is by sincere? Coming from the heart, because you want to change yourself, you want to get better, is more powerful than many hours in any temple or church. Just 2 minutes of sincere thought, sincere. What is prayer? Gurudev said, prayer is strong, powerful thoughts. That's why we do healing prayers, because when we're praying for people who are ill, what are we doing? We're sending them this strong, powerful thought. And because it's so powerful and it's so full of energy, that the waves will reach them, the vibration will reach them. And that's how, distant healing works. That's why I always say, keep your vibration high. Try not to get depressed, because when you're depressed, lower energies or vibrations you can easily absorb them. So stay in high energy fields. Be with people of high-minded thinking. What did Master Chinmayananda said? High thinking, simple living will make you very happy. Live simply, but think highly. Protect yourself is another thing. When you get into dark moments, you need to protect yourself. And this is where the energy of prayer is important, or mantra chanting. And if you don't believe in Indian mantras or Sanskrit mantras, this too shall pass. Thy will be done. Very simple. Many people, Catholics, have said to me, Nalanie, I really tried to do Om Namah Shivaya. I can't relate to it. Okay, doesn't matter. What can you relate to? I can relate to Thy will be done. Brilliant. Keep repeating it. But feel the love in your heart. What are you saying when you say, thy will be done? What are you feeling? Is it a feeling of love, protection, or is it a feeling of I'm just saying it because it's a mantra? You got to really feel it. You have to create that energy field in yourself. All right? And this is what we all need to learn, just to flow with life rather than to resist those bitter moments. The more we fight it, the more sick we become. The more we accept it without causing pain. And this is tapas. It's called tapas. When you have bitterness and pain in your life, accept it without hurting somebody else in return. And then you will gain this, what I call alchemy. And you start to know things that you've never known before. And it's quite a magical life then, because then it is at this point you realize that all the suffering took you to see this great truth. This great, great truth. That when we live in the highest, when we live constantly in that energy of Om united with the source, then we can become free from pain and bitterness. It's not that you don't feel it. We are humans. We do. But we are free from the attachment to the pain and the bitterness. That is what we need to look at. That word attachment. When will it go? Will it be here tomorrow? Am I going to be like this for years to come? It's here. It'll come when it comes. It goes when it goes. Meanwhile, what can I do to elevate my mind? Do you see how that works? And then you really have become a yogi. You've elevated yourself to a different dimension. And then you look down on your pain and bitterness as if it's separate from you.